A video tutorial here for the Lightroom Learning Group. And in today's tutorial, I wanted to talk to you about exporting and in particular creating presets for exporting. Now, in a recent blog post, I had stated that I don't really use presets for exporting, and up until now, I really hadn't. But after reviewing it and working with them for a little while here, I think it's actually going to be quite beneficial. I think it's going to be good for you guys, and I think it's going to be good for me as well. So it's something that I'm going to start doing more of, and I want to show you how I'm going to be doing it. Now, if you remember from that blog post, I export each image 3 times. I export once for my website, I export once for social media, and I export once for a DNG raw file backup. So I want to start here on the desktop and show you guys how I go about doing that as far as the folder structure goes. So on my desktop here, I'm going to create a new folder for this tutorial. And I'm just going to go ahead and rename this folder to, we'll just call it demo folder. And then within that folder, I'm going to create 3 subfolders. The first folder I will call social media. The next folder I will name website. And then, of course, the final folder here I will name DNG backups. Now, this folder is not going to be imported into Lightroom. It's simply just going to be a folder outside of the Lightroom catalog as just a final place for all of my final images. Because when I'm exporting, the images are in their final state, whether it's for web or for printing. So this is not going to be imported into the Lightroom catalog, so you don't have to deal with Lightroom as far as the file structure goes here. But it is good to have them all in one folder and then have subfolders from there just to be able to find them easily. So of course that folder is there on my desktop, but you can put that anywhere you want on any hard drive. And we'll go ahead and go to Lightroom here. And from here, we will simply choose an image to export. So I'll just go with this first one here. I'll right click on that and I'll scroll down to export. And I'll select the first option there that says export ... And of course, wherever you see those 3 dots, that means that there's more options to follow. And that will naturally open up the export panel. Now, this is the panel that we discussed in that blog post recently. And what I'm going to do here is enter in all the values that I want for my first preset. The first preset that I'll make will be for my website. So my website is going to have a JPEG image, but that image is not going to have a watermark on it, unlike my social media images, which will have a watermark on it. So we'll start at the top here in the export location. I always choose export to specific folder. And for this, I want to choose the folder titled website, which was in that folder on the desktop. So there's the demo folder that we created, and there is the subfolder website. I'll select that one. So now this particular image is going to go to the demo folder and then the subfolder website. I'm going to rename the file, and for this, since it's going to the website folder, I'll just type in website. And I like to have my images have the date on them. So in order to do that, I will click on this double arrow over here, and I'll go to edit. And I'm just going to hit the backspace key to get rid of the file name number suffix. And I don't like the dash in there. I prefer the underscore. Don't ask me why. I just do prefer the underscore as opposed to the dash. And then I will select the date. So now it's going to say website underscore March 9, 2018 .jpeg. So that's done. And now my file settings, again, this is going to go to the website, so it'll be online. I want it to be a JPEG. Again, my quality is usually around 85 or so. And the color space is always going to be sRGB if you are exporting with the intent of publishing it online. Now, the image resize, I will resize my images to the long edge, and I will make that 1024 on the long edge, with a resolution of 144. Now, these dimensions are just what I've been using for a long time. There's nothing in particular to them other than the 1024 being an HD value. That's just a size that has always worked well for me. The output sharpening, I will sharpen for screen, since again it's going to my website. People will be viewing this image on a screen. That's a good option to select. And then we come down to watermark, and again, on my website, there is no watermark on my image, so I will skip that. That will remain unchecked. So now this looks pretty good. This is how I want my image to be titled. The format is correct, and the size is correct as well. So I want to save this as a preset. All I have to do is go over to this preset panel on the left-hand side and click Add. And then I will name this preset. I'll just go ahead and call it Website. And I'll hit Create. So now you can see right under User Presets, I have a new preset called Website. So every time I select the preset Website, all of these values will be entered for the image that I'm exporting. So I'll just go ahead and hit Export. And you can see in the upper left-hand corner there, it is exporting that file. It's now done. So we'll head over here to that demo folder and then the website folder. And there you can see the image has already been transferred to that folder. Let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit here. Well, that didn't look like I wanted it to, but that's okay. There we go. Looks a little bit better. Close that. And now we'll go back to Lightroom. Now, the really nice thing, and this was something that I didn't really realize before, but if you want to export multiple images using that preset, it is really easy. So here I have the 8 images from a recent shoot that I want to export. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit Command A or Control A on my keyboard to select all of them. I will then right click on one of those images, scroll down to the export option, and I'm going to go way down here to the bottom, and you have your user presets right there. So there's my website preset that I just created. I'll go ahead and click on that. And so now it's going to say that one of these files, it already exists. Well, that's because we already exported that one. So I'll go ahead and I will actually choose the overwrite option simply because I know what file they're talking about and I know it's going to be replaced accurately. You can use the use unique names option. So we'll go ahead and hit overwrite, and then it's going to export all of those images to that folder. This is going to take a minute here for it to do its little export thing, but we'll go ahead and wait it out so that I can show you the folder once they are there. There we go. We'll go over back to that demo folder and website, and there they are. So now you can see they all had the same name. Well, not all of them, because a couple of them were taking on different dates. But if they do happen to have the same date in this instance, what will happen is that you will get a dash number at the end. So it goes in sequence. So the first image here is website underscore March 9, 2018. The second image here is website underscore March 9, 2018 -2. And then you go over here, -3. So you can see that it is very quick and very easy to set up a preset. We'll go ahead and we'll close this, and we'll create the other presets as well. So I'm sure that you guys kind of get the idea already, but just to kind of walk you through the entire process, we'll just create the export preset for all of them. So I'll go ahead and reselect an image here and go back to export, and this time I will choose that first option again in the export context menu there. Now I want to actually send it to a different folder. It's going to be still in the demo folder, but I'm going to be creating now a preset for social media, so it's going to be a little bit different. So I'll go ahead and hit choose there, and I will find the folder that I want it to go to. That is, well, on the desktop there, under demo folder, and then social media. And we'll hit choose. And the name, I'm going to rename it to, we'll just do social media. And so now it's going to appear as social_media_March9/2018.jpg, which is fine. The image format is again going to be JPEG and again going to be an sRGB. The size is going to be the same as well. So these things remain the same, and again it's going to be going to the web, so we want it to be in the sRGB color space. We're going to sharpen it for the screen again because, again, if people are on social media, they're looking at a screen. Now we're going to go ahead and select a watermark. Now I have created multiple watermarks here throughout the years I've been using Lightroom, and we'll get into these in another tutorial here not too far from now, but we're not going to get into that right now. I'll just go ahead and select this one here. It's web and FMP center small. I know what that means. You probably don't, but I created it, so I know that it's going to have my website, and then it's also going to say Fine Michigan Photography. It's going to be in the center, and it's going to be small. And when I say center, I don't mean smack dab in the center of the image. I mean at the center bottom. So now we have everything set up to be how it's going to be working for social media. So I'll go ahead and add another preset. I'll hit add, and I'll type in the name as social media. I'll hit create, and then I will export. And I'm just going to export this one image here. You already saw how you can do it for multiple images. And just to speed up the process here a little bit, we'll just do one at a time. So now I'll go back to that folder, back to social media, and now you can see there the image has that watermark on it, just how I wanted it to be. We'll close that, and we'll head back to Lightroom one more time, and we will make one more preset. So we'll go back down to export, and this time we're going to be creating the DNG raw backup file. So again, I want to change the folder. So I'll find the main folder again, the demo folder. This time I'll select DNG backups. And we're going to rename it simply to the date. So what I want to do is I want to do a just the date. So I'll click in here somewhere, there we go, and just delete those options. So it's just going to be simply the date. Now if we wanted to, you could add something more specific like Upper Peninsula or ice or things like that. And actually, you know what, I think I will add the custom name of Upper Peninsula, and we'll add that first. And then we'll add another underscore there. So that's a little more descriptive. That's about a better way to name a file there. We'll go ahead and do it right the first time here. So it's going to be Upper Peninsula underscore and then the date. So we'll say that's done. The image format is going to be DNG. You don't get the other options of color space and things of that nature here. You can, of course, select whether or not you want a JPEG preview. So you can select none if you don't want one, a medium-size preview or a full-size preview. I usually have medium size on there. It doesn't really seem to slow the process down at all, and it can bring up the previews quicker when you're using it in the future. I don't click use lossy compression, and I also don't click embed original raw file. I just want this DNG. Now with a DNG file, you don't have the option to resize it. The size is its size. You also don't have the ability to sharpen, and you also don't have the ability to watermark. So when you're exporting your raw file or your DNG file, it takes away a lot of the options, but that's fine because really all you're doing is simply creating a backup of the image. So now we have everything set to where we want it to be. It's going to the DNG backups. The name is correct. Everything down here is correct. And of course, a lot of these options we no longer have because it is that raw format. And we'll go ahead and we'll hit add for the preset. And I'll just type in DNG backup. And I'll hit create. Now, before I export this, I just want to go over this really quickly here. If you happen to be creating a preset and you screw something up, say I was doing this DNG backup preset, but I forgot to set the image format to DNG and I left it at JPEG, what I would have to do is actually delete the preset. So I can delete it right down here and then make my changes back to, for the example I just gave you, back to the DNG format and then add the preset back. So if you do make a mistake, it's a little bit of a hassle, but there's a pretty quick fix there. Just remove it and then make your quick change and save the new preset again. So now I have everything set though, and I'll go ahead and hit export. And it's going to export that file, and we'll go over to that folder again, and we'll go to DNG backup, and there it is, right there. All right, so there you go, guys. Hopefully you found that helpful. There are the 3 presets that I will be using in the export panel. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, send me a message, or leave a post on the Facebook page. All right, guys, we'll talk to you later.